Now, Maria Montessori lived in Rome in the late 1800s and early 1900s, and she ran a small school for homeless kids and whatever. And she found that a lot of the children who had been dismissed as retarded and not able to learn, in fact, just weren't being taught anything. You know, it's like he's a homeless street child, you can't learn. You can't put him in school, nothing will happen. And she found that they can be brilliant. And she studied how the human mind learns when it's young. And her system is still fantastic today, up until about the age of 6 or 8. Over that, she doesn't have much to help with. But up until then, it's good. And here's a book, by Maria Montessori. It's the Montessori Method. And that's a good one to get, too. She doesn't have much available for you to read if you want to read about her. But what's out there is good. So there's a lot of schools today that actually they say they're a Montessori school, right? Because it was known as the best education method over the last 50 years and more. So some of those schools aren't actually Montessori. You know, everyone uses that term. But now, on the subject of schools and women starting schools in slums, Marva Collins opened a school in Chicago, and I believe it's still in operation today. And here's a book called Marva Collins' Way. She says any child can be a real achiever. Now, this is a good book. You should get it and read it if you're interested in education and what should be fixed in education. Now, just one example of one of the things that Marva Collins does is she has math drills. I didn't give any quotes in the academic books we went over earlier, but they stress in here that in the new kindergarten and in Practical Guide to Early Childhood Curriculum, they stress that competition for young children is bad because it can lower their self-esteem and hurt their feelings and stuff like that. And you should avoid competition when they're young. Well, Marva Collins, I don't think, would agree. They have a thing called math drill, where two students go up to the front of the board, go up to the front of the room and stand chalk ready, and all of a sudden the teacher starts giving instructions. 4 plus 2 minus 1 plus 3 minus 7 plus 9 divided by 6 plus 4, you know, and it goes on, and whoever has the correct answer at the end or falls behind or whatever, somebody wins. So, and the whole class gets electrified, and they're all paying attention. And when they get up there, they do their best, and some students aren't as good as others, but those students have the things they're good at, and they realize it's an exercise. So it doesn't hurt their self-esteem. What hurts their self-esteem is not letting them be proud of anything at all. So Marva Collins' Way is a good book to read if you want to know some more about education. And it's short, too. Short and easy. A couple hundred pages. See, so 213 pages or so. Now we have Why Johnny Can't Read and What You Can Do About It. This is by Rudolf Flesch, F-L-E-S-C-H. This is on the subject of the reading problem, introduced in 1925 in the United States as a reading method called the Look-Say method. They realized that adults read by seeing the word, that they don't go over each letter. So some people said, all right, we're not going to teach kids to read letter by letter, we're just going to show them the word and have them know that word. And we can cut out phonics. You don't have to teach phonics anymore, it's extra stuff. So, have you gotten one of those emails perhaps? You've got an email where the words are all scrambled, but you can read them just fine. And you just go from word to word and you're fine. They've got all the right letters, but they're in the wrong order. But you can read it. Right? If you can read at all. If you're good at reading, then you can read those scrambled emails. Well, that's the phenomenon that they were looking at when they developed the Look-Say method. Turns out you have to know how to read before the Look-Say method applies. Teaching a child to read by never teaching him to read doesn't work. So, this was written in 1953, so it's over a half century old, and they're still using the Look-Say method to teach in schools. Now lastly, I have a book, How to Tutor, by Samuel L. Blumenfeld. And this is a book for tutoring and more for homeschooling, actually. and it goes over the very first introduction for the child when if you start him when he's 3 or 4 or 5. It's got basically the full curriculum in here for the first year for math and letters. It has introduction to words, step by step and so forth, teaching the child to read, and it talks about how the schools are failing and why. This is a good book, Samuel L. Blumenfield. So there's a sample of some of the books that I will be drawing from on the curriculum, and you can go to my YouTube page called Cropper B, which is my last name and first initial, and I've got 20 or 30 hours or so of videos on there about all kinds of subjects. Many of them are on the school, and some of them are on education generally. So there you are, and thanks for watching.